Like the video.
Bro, are you okay?
Like the video.
That's a little bit better. Okay, so hear me out. If Joe Rogan came out on his show and said, man, some of these podcasts are lame. They all have this extra background music and all this editing, and sometimes the editor pops in with these sound effects. Sometimes the editor takes over the entire show, and all that extra noise is lame. Podcasts are about real, raw conversation. If I became privy to that, okay, two things would happen.
One,
I would take like a little bit of offense. I would disagree pretty harshly. I'd say that it's an artistic choice and it adds to the show. And I'd also probably milk it for like a week or two. But that's because like I have a small show, like a really, really, really small show. I mean, compared to Joe Rogan's numbers, I don't even have a podcast. But
two,
which I think would be important to acknowledge is that I wouldn't take it too personally because it's very likely that Joe Rogan did not listen to the Derapy podcast, right? That'd be quite the leap. Now, the reason why I bring this up is Andrew Schulz, alleged comedian, went on this crazy weird rant about Kendrick Lamar. And this is gonna blow your mind, okay? Because, well, this part actually isn't. It got really weird and like shockingly unfunny and just awkward. But what's actually really funny about this situation is the fact that Kendrick didn't even say this guy's name. Derapy. Now, as somebody that works from home, their job is social media, they talk about Kendrick a lot on their podcast, and claim to have a comedy podcast, I feel like this is the perfect thing for me to yap about, so lock in. I know way more about this than I should. So first we have to go back a little bit to earlier this year for some context. Andrew Schulz is a white comedian who had these two black dudes on his podcast called Flagrant. Don't go and watch it. It sucks. And they started talking about the quote-unquote black girlfriend effect. It's some stupid online thing where apparently when a white dude dates a black girl, they have like a glow up, like the white dude, his beard fills in, they get a nice haircut, they dress better, whatever. I think it's ridiculous. I don't play into all these like weird TikTok trendy topic theory stuff, whatever.
Whatever though.
The dudes on the show, they're talking about it in like a pretty light and positive way. Alleged comedian Andrew Schulz decides to, and if you watch the clip or the video, you would see him truly forcing in this joke. Like he's trying to find a way to be controversial. It's just completely uncalled for stuff. He's making a joke about how these men are actually growing their beards to protect themselves from when their black girlfriend inevitably like attacks them, slaps them, hits them. The reason why they're getting this fresh haircut, they're actually shaving their head because they know at some point this black girl is going to stress them out so bad that they're going to end up losing their hair anyways. They're basically shaving their head because they know they're going to lose their hair anyway, so they're trying to get ahead of it.
No pun intended.
Andrew Schulz is talking about black women like they're cancer or something. Because like when you get cancer treatment, oftentimes you know you're going to lose your hair, so you shave your head to get ahead of it. Andrew Schulz is basically saying that's what black women are doing to these white men. Now, here's the thing. I don't personally care who you clown on. Like one of my pet peeves is I'm not going to get offended on behalf of other people, generally speaking. I just think that you should be funny. Like the alleged joke is what? Black women are just mean and violent. I just don't really understand what the goal is. So he gets some backlash from that because he should. The black dudes that were guests on that show, they put out an apology because they were laughing the whole time this is happening. They claimed that they were laughing out of nervousness, and they actually love black women, and you know they regret not doing something in the moment. And honestly, man, fuck y'all. It's not that great of an apology. Like whatever, man. I think that trying to claim that you're in like a fight or flight or freeze moment when you're on a comedy podcast and you hear some dudes making jokes about black women, I think it's whack as fuck. That's just my opinion, but
whatever though.
So Andrew Schulz makes some jokes with black women being the butt of it. It's lame. Nobody likes it. Whatever. We move, right? So then, a couple weeks ago, Kendrick drops GNX. And on the first track of the album, he name drops multiple people. Lil Wayne, Stop Crying Over the Super Bowl. Snoop, You Must Have Been High on the Moon Jumping on a Trampoline to repost the TaylorMade freestyle. Nas, Thank You. And by the way,
don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman as law.
And then he says,
I know probably gonna work for them and fuck whoever that's close to them. The niggas that coon and niggas that being groomed, slide on both of them.
That's it. It's like less than 10 seconds that he dedicated on the entire album to this one little thing. Now, just to be clear, in case you missed it, because it was very short, he didn't say Andrew's name. He didn't say the name of the show. He didn't even say it was on a podcast. He didn't say the friends of Andrew's on the show. Like, he didn't say their names. He didn't mention the guests on that show. And there are probably plenty of white comedians talking about black women every single day. Also, this incident that happened on the Flagrant podcast happened like in the summer sometime. And this album got released in November. So I just think it's weird that our pal Andrew really locked in and said,
Yeah, nah, bro. He's definitely talking about us. He's talking about the Flagrant podcast.
hey, listen, buddy, Andrew, friend, Hitler stash, head ass, come here. You're not that guy, pal. Not everything's about you, bud. So I've been purposely not playing clips from the Flagrant podcast, but in order for you to understand just how unhinged his response to this quote-unquote situation that he has completely created on his own, we are going to listen to some bits and pieces of his response so you can understand just how weird it gets, because it goes from a place where you're kind of like, this is kind of like a funny little good point he's making. He talks about Kendrick is saying that we should respect women more and protect them, but rap music is just the perfect art form for protecting women. And honestly, here's the thing. If Andrew Schultz would have just kept it to, I can joke about whatever I want, even though we don't even know whether he was talking about you or not. I can joke about whatever I want, and everybody gets these jokes. You know, I'm not targeting anybody specifically. Also, Kendrick, you know, I love the album, but keep my name out of your mouth. Whatever. Like, feel free to crack jokes. Feel free to fight back. If people are speaking ill on your name, which I know after the album dropped, I'm sure they were. He has the right to respond. He has the right to be upset. He has the right to even think it's about him, even though it may have not been. Honestly, some of his defense, some of his criticism towards Kendrick, where he's like, oh, you care about protecting black women? Didn't you do a song with Chris Brown? I also thought it was weird that he was doing songs with Kodak Black. I understand it was an artistic choice. The fact of the matter is, I understand why one would say that these things could be hypocritical. You call these women bitches in your song. You love them and care about them so much. You want to protect them. Why are they bitches and hoes? Completely fair clapback. But how do we get from that to this?
Just Kendrick, I would make love to him. And there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do.
Every day we stray further from God's light.
There are so many things wrong with this. I don't know how long this is going to take. First of all, what a completely wild thing to come up with unprovoked. Like, why is that on your mind? Like, what consciously or subconsciously leads you to say, like, let's say Andrew Schultz was gay. It would make a little more sense, but it would still be weird because of like the consensual piece to it. It's just an odd response to literally anything. He's saying that Kendrick's people could hurt him, but in a one-on-one situation, he wouldn't beat up Kendrick. He would like okay. I just want to address like the man piece of this for a second, the double standard. Why is it when something weird like this is said, because it's just being said about a man, it's mainly just cringe and awkward and dumb? But could you imagine the state of Andrew Schultz's life if SZA said exactly what Kendrick said, and Andrew Schultz decided to make the exact same quote unquote joke? His career would be over. Like, we would be writing his eulogy. His shows would get canceled, his tour would get called off, his special would be cooked. Like, he would get hacked and doxxed. It would be over for him if he said this about SZA, if he said this about any woman. But because he's talking about a black man, because he's talking about a guy that people deem to be, you know, tough, then it's okay to talk about how, since Kendrick is a smaller person, you would be able to take advantage of him sexually. What a weird turn. What a crazy choice. I'm almost speechless. And before we move forward, can I just say something that I think should be obvious? And I rarely say this, but I feel like it's something that we should all agree on, even when it comes to comedy. And I think Cat Williams said it the best.
And rape is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are.
It's kind of baffling to me that I'm even in a position where it feels appropriate to say this, but the whole
I'm a straight man, but if you mess with me, I'll have non-consensual sex with you.
it's the weirdest kind of humor, and it generally comes from, and I'm not trying to make this a race thing, what is it with white dudes and being straight and saying gay things and that just being like their sense of humor? What is that? This isn't even really about Kendrick at all, or protecting people or groups. This is just about like a shit lazy joke. It's just bad. I like dark humor. I see the benefit of making light of terrible things to cope and heal or bring people together, but this is just kind of gross for no reason. And people love to do the whole, but what about Mike Tyson said he would do that to a guy and no one cared. First of all, they should have cared. That's gross also. Secondly, they both agreed to fight each other, like physically fight each other, and they're trying to intimidate each other. But Derek, you like the Boondocks, and they make a joke out of wrong. They are not making a joke about the assault itself. Tom Dubois is a lawyer on the Boondocks who has this irrational fear of being taken advantage of, and this leads to him like not doing rolling stops or like making sure that like he shows up for appointments on time. Just ridiculous stuff. The joke is that he'd probably never be in that situation, and his hyperbolic fear is comical, as the show is also pointing to the irony of him sending people to the same fate that he fears. It's actually a really interesting social commentary on black men, on different sides of the justice system. Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked. The Boondocks is great. Andrew Schultz is weird. It's just really, really weird. There's no thought. There's no layers to the joke. It's just, oh, Kendrick dissed me. Well, he's smaller than me. I could rape him? What the fuck? What are you saying? Also, he never even said your name. But he just keeps going. And these dudes are just yucking it up, and I just don't get it. I don't get the joke.
If it's me and Kendrick, this is about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're bored and we done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games and we did all the other things, we cleaned everything, and I'm like, man, I might as well fuck you. There's nothing he could physically do to stop that besides put his legs in the air and choose a position. Maybe
Mark,
I'll let him choose a
why
position.
are you pulling this picture up, Mark?
Stop! I get it!
Oh, man.
I just don't get the joke. Like, I understand the humor is subjective. I just can't get there, really. If you're an Andrew Schultz fan, by all means, help me understand. Please leave a comment. Is this his normal response to people bothering him or dissing his comedy? Like, he makes a couple of other claims, like towards the beginning, where he says that Kendrick needed him for the clout. That's a good joke. That's funny because obviously Kendrick doesn't like need him for that. That's an effective joke. He also claims towards the end of this clip, however, that Kendrick is only getting these jokes from him. He's only going so hard at Kendrick because he claims that he's claiming that these bars are like physical threats. They're a call to violence because Kendrick's saying, whoever coons, whoever's groomed, slide on both of them. I'm pretty sure he was just saying, like, hold these people accountable. I don't think he's literally saying, find the people that are on Andrew Schultz's flagrant podcast and do physical harm to them. There's just no way. There's no way that Andrew actually listened to that song and was like, he's gonna hurt the people around me, the people that I care about. So this is your response? If you actually thought these people were in danger, this was your response? If anything, ironically, you're increasing the chances that you get slid on in real life over saying that you're gonna have your way with them. You
Wing Wong.
I want to end this show with some replies, some opinions, some tweets that I saw that kind of add to this discourse in an interesting way. One of the comments from my community post said, Kendrick really be exposing the worst people in the industry by doing nothing but making bangers, which is hilarious because Kendrick, once again, did not say this man's name, didn't really call him out explicitly, but then he just goes and decides to self-report as an absolute weirdo. Somebody also replied saying, it's giving, fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life type energy. All these guys are weirdos. This is referring to Elon Musk just tweeting the wildest thing I've seen in some time. It's so funny. Like, again, this is something that my brother and I say to each other all the time. Everybody's just a person. Everybody is just human, and they are capable of being weird and making really odd decisions. Elon Musk talking about giving Taylor Swift a child is so strange to me. It's giving off kind of like very similar energy. Kendrick doesn't even mention this dude, and he's just like, oh, well, by the way, I could have sex with you if I wanted to. Just reactions that just don't match the action at all. Somebody else said, I looked up his age out of curiosity and cannot believe this man is in his 40s speaking like this. I think about that a lot too. Like, when you're younger, you really think that when you get older, it automatically makes you smarter and wiser. And again, I want to be clear about this. I understand that this man is telling jokes, but it's such a weird kind of humor. It's like Dave Chappelle has gotten more wise with his comedy. Like, why is it so hard for people to just like grow up and stop being weird? I promise you can be funny without doing stuff like this. I promise. Cat Williams is proof of it. Somebody on Twitter said Andrew Schulz is 45 years old fantasizing about raping Kendrick Lamar because he said white comedians can't make fun of black women. Am I the only person who thinks that's insane? No. It's crazy to be at this big age talking about, like, the dude set the scene. He's talking about where they would be, how it would go, the positions. It is like not normal behavior. And I get it that comedians are weird and sick and funny in their own way. But again, I ask, what is the joke? The last tweet I have here says, I love people are getting together to hate on Andrew Schulz. Been hating on him forever. Just needed y'all to catch up. LOL. That is honestly something that I take way too much pride in. Like, sometimes I'll be hating on somebody and I'm like, why isn't everybody else hating on them? Like, is it just me? It can't just be me. I know other people know this person is lame. I mean, I kind of just got like my ultimate dub in the past day or two with the downfall of the talk to a girl. I'm sure she's not actually like a terrible person or anything, but she let the fame go to her head. She saw a dollar sign. She got some bad people in her camp. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your likeness, for your brand, and being the face of a meme coin. You had to have known that was just going to end in disaster. But I don't want that to take away from the fact that, yeah, Schulz is a weirdo, certified wing wong, total dork, weird head ass moves. I'm not going to lie. Weird behavior, and he deserves whatever's coming, whatever that may be. I don't think anybody should really be out to hurt anybody, but while I don't believe in suppressing people's speech, he is allowed to joke about whatever he wants. He can say whatever he wants, but he also has to be ready for the fact that our words have consequences. You know, our words have power, and you choosing to decide that somebody was talking about you when they really didn't even mention you.
Kendrick never said his name.
Yeah, as Meg Thee Stallion once said, hit dog's gonna holler. So I appreciate you all tapping into this. This felt like something that was right up my alley. It's about Kendrick. I'm becoming a Kendrick guy, it seems. And it's about like comedy podcasts, which I also happen to kind of run. I don't know. I think the show's funny. But yeah, thank you for being here. Love you. Mean it. Maybe we'll do another episode tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, support the channel for $1 if you want to become a member. Enjoy the outro. Tired of being nice, switch it up like Walter White, man. Telling me to relax, I do the opposite, get hype, man. Growing up a nerd, a geek, a freak, a loser, virgin, and a burden, but I'm turning into something y'all don't recognize. Turning up my way like the highway, I require more speed. Oh, please tell me you get more cheese, and I will likely agree. I'ma keep it running Forest, run this town, you just a tourist. Borough where I reside, but I decided I may do more. I was watching Wheezy in a hotel room just spitting rhymes, and damn, it just occurred to me that I can't really make excuses. I thought it'd be easy, I was was in my room in summertime, and thank God it occurred to me that I probably need more practice. Staying humble, stay off Bumble, already got my queen. Derapy the regime, swear I'm living the dream. Y'all are sleeping tucked in, only worth $1.10, but by the end of my stint, you'll remember Buxton. Damn. And I'm never finished, do this shit till I die. Ready for the prime time, ready for the high life, ready to make highlights, don't waste my time, cooler than the Sonic ice. Haters get bubonic die, rest will witness my rise. I'm shining like a skylight, I'm way too scared to skydive, but I'ma have a fine wife, and I'ma keep on cooking with the rare spices. Bitch, I am the bomb. They like, oh my God, where's ISIS?